Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everybody's favorite time of the month. That's right, real estate market statistics time. These real estate market statistics are for Pinellas County for June 2025. Now, as you can see, we are back in Studio D. D is for downstairs, so this is downstairs at my house. This plant has gotten phenomenally large. If you go back and look at videos from a year and a half ago, this thing was quite a bit smaller than this. This thing is definitely getting super bushy. You might also be asking, Kyle, I have the report in my hand here, downloaded from that link in the description down below. I have the report in my hand, but the report actually says May. Why are you calling this June numbers? Well, mainly because June's when I record this, and the most recent complete set of stats are from May. Hang on a second. Our video assistant just stopped by, so this is Bijou, my real estate assistants. If you do decide to, contact me for help with the home, Bijou is one of the people that will be helping you along the way. So she's very sweet. But I'm trying to record the stats video for these nice people, Bijou. Thank you. So May is the most recent complete set of numbers, and what we do is we always look at month compared year over year. So we're comparing May 2025 numbers to May 2024 numbers. The reason we do that is because weeks and days are way too short of a time frame, and you will have things like holidays or particular weather patterns that really throw a monkey wrench into short-term comparisons. So month is kind of the smallest block that you can do. And the additional problem is if you compare month to month, there's a natural ebb and flow in the real estate cycle through the course of a calendar year. So for example, wintertime is naturally a low point. So if you're comparing winter numbers to fall numbers are always going to be a little bit higher. Same thing with the school year. Things tend to drop off immediately before school ends and immediately before school starts. So couple little tidbits there. So we do compare year over year. So let's dive into these real estate statistics for Pinellas County for June 2025. Total number of closed sales was up 2.8% from 976 homes to 1,003 homes. Cash sales was up 1.1% from 348 to 352. That one's interesting because that number's actually gone down a little bit the past few months. You would think that that would be higher because of the storms, but that has actually dropped, which is interesting. Yeah, so our peak was 406 in March and then 377 in December. I mean, that's high for that month for sure. So I'll get to what this means in the analysis section, so kind of stay tuned. Median sales price was down 4.9% from 485,000 to 461. Put a little asterisk on that. We'll go over that as well. Average sales price was down 5.9% from $646,617 to $608,653. Median percent of original list price was only slightly down 0.7% from 94.4% to 93.7%. And median time to contract went up, which everyone's kind of been ringing alarm bells about inventory being up and all this stuff. But median time to contract is up 19.2%, which might sound terrible. That's still only 31 days. And that is still very much seller's market territory. Number of new listings was up 1.4%, so slight increase at 1,420. Active inventory, though, has made some big moves. So active inventory is up 43.1% from 2,817 to 4,031. The doom and gloom section here, so this is foreclosure short sales. Foreclosures were down 55.6% to 4, and short sales were up 200%, which sounds bonkers, but it went from 1 to 3. Context matters when you're talking about statistics. Now, I do like to, obviously I went over the cash sales a little bit, but I do also like to go over the different price points because, $1 million house sells in a little bit different time frame than a $400,000 house. And that's primarily just because there's more people in the $400,000 price range than are looking to buy $1 million homes. There's just naturally a larger buyer pool. So closed sales by sales price, I'll only hit kind of the interesting ones here. So 200 to 250 is up 168.8% to 43. So we sold more than twice as many houses in that price range. To cut the mystery, these are all the flood damage stuff. 250 to 300 was also up 47.8% to 68. So you kind of have to put an asterisk on a lot of these numbers. Median time to contract, 150 to 200 was up 371%, which sounds crazy, but that's still 33 days. That's still super fast. 200 to 250 was up 70.6% to 29. 250 to 300 is a bit of an anomaly. It was up 172%, 49 homes. 600 to a million dropped 15.2% to 28. 400 to 600 was up 36.4% to 30. New listings by list price. pretty much everything up across the board with the exception of 400 and higher. Some of that is, again, going to be the flood damage issues. But again, we have that 200 to 250. There's 103% more houses, total of 42. Inventory by current price, 200 to 250, there's 86, which is a 616% increase, which sounds bonkers. 250 to 300 was up 162.2, which, only 215, but there's twice as many of those. And again, don't give a lot of weight to these numbers, and I'll tell you why in the analysis section. Now, if you remember back to your, middle school-ish math classes, you might remember average and median numbers or prices. So average is pretty self-explanatory. Most people know what average is. You take, let's say, 10 houses, you add up the price that all of those houses sold for, you divide it by 10, that gives you the average sales price. Median sales price is a little bit different though. So what that is let's say you have 100 houses that have sold. The median is the point at which there's an equal number of homes at a higher price point as at a lower price point. So it's more of the true midpoint of the market. And it's not affected as much if a large number of very inexpensive or very expensive homes sell. So for example, if a $10 or $15 million house happens to sell, that will really move the average sales price, but it will not impact the median sales price as much. So that's why I usually pay more attention to median sales price. All right, so the main question has been, why is inventory so high, 4,000 houses? Why is Pinellas County, why are prices going down, but when I actually try to buy a house, why am I having to spend more money? And why is there more competition than those numbers would suggest? And the answer is the hurricanes. So basically what has happened is Pinellas County has split into two markets. So you have all of the flood damage stuff, which most people consider to be the coastal areas, but there is a pretty significant number of homes inland, a good bit. So they didn't get storm surge flooding from like Helene, but Milton dropped so much rain on the area that it overwhelmed the drainage systems or the storm drains, or the yard was not graded properly and it piled up water against the house and then the water came in. So this flood damaged homes, so most people's concern is people don't want to buy flood damaged homes. And that's true to a degree, but that hesitancy tends to decline as the area renovates, recovers, and repairs itself after a storm. So especially all the piles of cabinetry and drywall out by the roads, which all of that is mostly taken care of now. But currently you still have a large number of houses with drywall that is torn up to 4 feet. There's a variety of reasons why that is. Permitting process, supplies, contractor labor, insurance claims, all of these things. But whenever you have a large number of houses with drywall that's torn out like that, it has a cooling effect on that neighborhood. Because as you're flipping through Zillow, you're like, oh, this house looks great. And then you look at every other house around it, and all of the walls are torn out. It really puts a damper on things. The flip side of that is you can only buy those houses with cash. You cannot get a conventional loan for a house that is in the process of being repaired. If it's not livable, you can't get a conventional loan. Yes, I know there's specific FHA repair loans. Those have monumental hurdles to them to effectively close those, so they're not basically a non-factor for this. So whenever you look at these countywide statistics and you see that median sales price is lower than it was last year, the natural thought is, oh, things are taking a hit because of the hurricanes. But whenever I run the report and I carve out the coastal areas with large amounts of those flood damaged houses, what it actually shows is median sales price has gone up for non-significantly flood impacted areas. And that is the key thing that you need to know when buying or selling a house in Pinellas County today. There's also a lot of news stories out there, Newsweek and all of these other rags that really don't know anything about real estate. They have a tendency to publish articles that are designed to grab clicks and headlines. They're not actually factually or statistically correct. Those are also usually national or statewide stories, and national and statewide trends are useless to understand what's going on in the Tampa-St. Pete area. And if you base a decision on what you're seeing on those stories, you're going to lose a lot of money and you're really going to hovel yourself. Real estate is very local. That's still too big to really get accurate, trend gauge, but that's the largest usable general information. And Pinellas County is pretty good. The other thing to know is while the median sales price is down compared to last year, so 460 versus 480-ish, Median sales price has come up since the hurricane. So it dipped after the hurricanes and it has steadily built itself back up. So those that are saying that the market's collapsing and demand is cratered and, you know, woe is me, that is not the case. So now, if you compare it to like peak tulip bulb craziness time of, you know, 2021 and 2022, when there was literally like 800 homes for sale, yeah, everything looks pretty dire, but that is a completely unsustainable market. This is a more reasonable market. Things are hanging around a little bit longer. You know, we're at 30 to 40 days time to contract. That's still very much a seller's market territory, but it's also not the 7 to 15 days that the peak craziness was with 30 to 40 offers on a single house. So the good news for homeowners, prices are still elevated. We have sold 4 listings in the last 2 months. All of those have set record prices for the neighborhood despite the hurricanes coming through. And also on the buyer side, there is a lot to choose from. There's 4,000 homes to choose from. That is the most homes that have been for sale since about 2017, 2018, depending upon how you want to slice it. So there's a large number of homes to choose from. Now, a lot of those you cannot buy because they're flood damaged. But again, that helps the overall market. It gives you more selection. What's happening is more and more of those flood damaged homes are getting renovated, coming back on market, giving more and more selection. So overall, market's doing super solid. You know, demand has come back. Median sales prices are starting to pick up again. And the other piece with those 200, 250,000, we're not building new 200 to 250,000. What all of those are the $500 to $600,000 homes on the coastal areas. Those are $500 to $700,000 homes that have been flood damaged and are basically being sold for salvage value, basically. But again, you have to have cash to be able to capitalize on those. So that's the analysis for Pinellas County for June 2025. Thank you so much for watching these market statistics. My name is Kyle Sasser. If you would like help finding your own great place in the Tampa Bay area, I would love to help you out. You can reach me at 727-300-2111. Feel free to call or text that number. There's also a link in the description down below to my calendar, and you can go there, book a chat at the time that works best for you. I promise that 15 or 30 minute chat will save you months and months and months of Googling around trying to find answers. Real estate is still a very offline, and the information is also extremely local. So like the information that I'm giving you here about Pinellas County, that does not apply to Sarasota, for example. Sarasota is its own separate thing. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Kyle Sasser, and I'll talk to you soon.